What was Elijah able to do this week? And did he get a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, he got better each day. He was able to do everything except we just kept guys off him from hitting him.
Any change in Dee Ford or Dre Greenlaw? You mentioned earlier in the week that you anticipated it be available.
Hoping so. But we're going to hold that out till tomorrow. Decide for sure.
Did Dee practice today?
He did. He was limited. Wasn't out there for stretch, but he came out.
One of the things with the Vikings, I noticed their yards per attempt on defense, at rushing defense, is pretty high, but they don't give up big plays. They don't give up chunk plays. Well, why is that? Why have they been able to limit the number of 20-plus runs?
Because they keep everything boxed in. They play two-shell defense probably more than anybody. Their clouds, outside corners do a good job of funneling it inside, and by the time the back gets past the line of scrimmage, those cover two safeties are up there at 5 yards. So there's, 8-man fronts are hard to run the ball against, but if you get a guy out of an 8-man front, there's only one guy left with lots of room. Two-shell, it's like an umbrella all the time, and that's how they've done always with Zimmer. He's been that way for a while. You go back to our playoff game, and I think we had 47 runs, but it wasn't until I clipped 65 or something that I think we got one over 10 yards. So they're always pretty stout in that way.
Is it just the key, just patience with a defense like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's usually, if you can't break big plays, you usually don't get the stats because you end up having to punt. Eventually, you don't get points when you don't get big plays. That's why it's so important to do well in third down, to do well in the red zone.
With Mitchell, is it a function thing still, pain tolerance thing, or what will determine?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not 100% confident in how he feels, then we won't put him out there. So it's mainly just getting to that point, and I think he's getting closer to being that.
Obviously, he doesn't verbalize when he's injured during a game. Is he upfront with you as far as confidence?
Yeah, he is. He is up front, and I think he would be in the game too. Just adrenaline's a funny thing in those games. Sometimes you don't feel the pain until after.
Somebody gets a pin inserted and they're out for a month. I mean, at least. Is this just a different?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't want to undertalk it, but it has to do with where it's at. You can protect it, things like that, and he's a fast healer, and obviously he wouldn't be out there if he wasn't all right.
It could be protected to a point where if he's comfortable, he would play.
Yes.
Is two questions, but they'll be brief. Has McGlinchey had his surgery, and then both with McGlinchey came on? I realize they're both early on and extensive on rehabs, but do you have a sense of when they could be ready next year?
Yes, they both had their surgery. They both went real well. I would guess training camp, just the two injuries that both of them had. Second one? Is that? Oh, that was two?
That was McGlinchey's surgery, and then
That's the fastest you've ever asked a question, and you did two of them. So I didn't even notice it.
Ask me for my Lakin question. Was I season yet? Or no?
No, you shouldn't.
I know. I just got started.
Go ahead.
No.
You guys good?
Well, no, you had said the other day, maybe someone gamesmanship, but you're like, well, it doesn't matter, about the Vikings defensive line injuries, it doesn't affect what we do. And at some point when a team, has so much attrition in one area, doesn't it affect what you do or what you want, maybe way to attack them?
Yeah, but when you're missing two guys in your starting lineup, it's not going to change what they do schematically. It changes some one-on-one battles, but from a scheme standpoint, you put players in position based off of who has the best look on what they're doing, not just who's better versus that guy. Because it's not just a one-on-one game. It's people just playing their holes and turning it to certain spots that would take a lot of me talking to explain and film to do why. But, it changes how successful some things can be, but it's not like you just completely alter a game plan. Good? All right. Go ahead. You got one more.
All right. So I know you're fired up after any type of win, no matter how it happens. But you seem, just through the years, particularly juice when you can dominate a team with your right rushing attack. Is that true? And why is it? Is it just because this is a physical game, and if you can win, physically, it's just somewhat more satisfying?
Yeah, I think it's when you can dictate it, and that's the best way to dictate a game is to run the ball. And to do it, it's not just the running back, it's not just the O-line, and it's not just the offense. I feel like when you can dominate a game through the run game, you got to have all that with the offense, but it's the whole team. And teams that do that, and not just once in a while, but teams that can win a lot of games doing that are usually teams that are extremely hard to beat in any situation, in any condition, and any type of game. All right. Are you two all right? All right. No. See you guys.